I'm in character. Okay? This is going to be a review of Something Wilder by Christina Lauren. First part's gonna be spoiler free. Second part, we're gonna get into the between the line. We're gonna go into the spoiler free version. I'm not gonna waste any time. I wanna start talking about this now. Now, you may be wondering, why are you wearing a cowboy hat inside in Florida and a jean jacket? Well, this book inspired me. I feel renewed, I feel new, I feel seen. I'm meant to be in this book. This book follows Lily Wilder and Leo something. Where do I start? Just read the synopsis really quick. I thought this was going to be a filler read for me. I genuinely did. I thought, okay, I was in a little bit of a rut. I had just finished reading some nonfiction, some psychological studies, and I knew I had to get back into the swing of things if I'm trying to make my Goodreads goal. You know, I'm on a time crunch. So I was like, let me pick this book up, let me breeze through it. Christina Lauren is a duo. They have written some very good books in the past. The first book I read from them was The Unhoneymooners. Loved it. Very light read, very fun, entertaining. I picked up The Soulmate Equation next. Soulmate Equation, trash. Literally trash. I was extremely disappointed. Not because it was bad, but because it was so predictable, so boring, so blah 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 blah. I've heard the same story before a million times. So this, went into it knowing it was going to be a filler read. I wasn't expecting anything but disappointment. Let me tell you, my heart was soaring reading this book. Every single new bit of information that came out in this book was the sharpest left or right turn. I'm not even kidding you when I say that I can predict almost everything that happens in books these days, unless it's fantasy. And I didn't predict a single thing that happened in this book. Not one. I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars. Now, 4 out of 5 stars for me means that I will recommend it to anyone with a beating heart that will want to read a book. Loved the characters. Rooting for the characters. And Leo in this book, holy moly. The cover was a little bit misleading. It looks cute, it looks fun, but it looks boring, you know? This is nowhere near a boring book. This book had me by the neck from page like 80. I read it over a couple of days, but I think consecutive hours in terms of reading, it maybe took me like 4 or 5 hours because when I was reading, I was consuming like a wild animal. I was so thirsty for the rest of the storyline. Trigger warnings for this book. If any of this triggers you, it's not deep in the book, but it can be a little bit unsettling. So here are the trigger warnings. Nothing ever left me being like, oh my god, I need to put this down. Other than maybe a little bit of stress at some point, but I picked it right back up like I couldn't stay away. I'm very impressed and happy. The writing in this book, it's almost like there's a very strong romantic underlining to it. The depictions of the land in this book, of the setting, of the people, of the way that the characters look is so thorough, but not overwhelming in a way that you feel suffocated by it. Because I've read some books where the description just goes on and on and on and you're like, this was so refreshing. You know what? That's actually the best word to describe this book. Refreshing. Would I recommend this book? Absolutely. I don't care what kind of reading you like. Read this book. It's not predictable. It's not boring. It's not repetitive. It's brand new. It feels brand new too. It feels great and I'm so happy I read it. There's no way to describe this book without spoiling any little bit because every detail amounts to like everything. It's great. It's great. It's great. It's great. I can't recommend it enough. Christina Lauren, great job. You've outdone yourself. A+ for me. Alright. Let's get into it, guys. Spoiler version coming up. Okay, click away if you haven't read it. Go read the book and then come back. Leo? The way that he is so written by a woman, and I could tell because I'm in love with him. The way that him and Lily fit so well together that I can't even want him for 1 second because he is so hers. Terry? Electric chair. Brad? Electric chair. Brad was giving me, you know, underlying suspicious activity when they had to leave Walt, or they had to split up because Walt broke his ankle or whatever, and Bradley was like freaking out because he wanted to go. I knew from that moment on something was going on. But Christina Lauren did such a good job at kind of just like closing the door on him, so you're like, oh, okay. They're just gonna split the money. No. And I wasn't expecting that. I wasn't expecting him to be part of that Reddit group. Also, I'm so glad Terry is dead. The condoms in the backpack. The first chapter being the most pivotal moment in the whole story is crazy to me. The fact that I didn't realize that it was that moment until I like finished the book and started thinking about the story is crazy. Also, the way that she just described being in love with Leo and him being in love with her and taking care of her in the first chapter was so pure. I also almost a little bit of expected for her to fall in love with someone else, not for it to go back to Leo. I thought that Leo was gonna be like her one heartbreak and then someone else was gonna come along and like take her, sweep her off her feet, rescue her, heal her, whatever. This was so much better. I'm so satisfied too. And let me know how I'm just now realizing, looking at the back, that the sun is a heart. I don't know, it's feel good. I love how it ended. I love that her silly little dad, what's his face? Duke. I like that he put the money in a bank account specifically for her. Also, when they first had read the riddle in the book or wherever they found that riddle, I knew it was for her. Like, I could just tell. Like, that's the one thing that I knew, kind of like I suspected. But it was so cute when she like figured it out on her own. Also, I don't know if Christina Lauren plans on making a story about Walt and Nicole, but my money's on the table, okay? My money is on the table. Christina and Lauren, drop the book immediately. Walt and Nicole, I need it yesterday. Can't say enough good things, honestly. If you didn't like this book, I'm actually very interested to know why. Drop it in the comments, because what about you is wrong? You know what I'm saying? Like, you need to have some serious analyzing skills to pick out what is not good about this book in order to tell me it's not good or that you don't like it. The second chance romance of this all was done so tastefully. I am not a second chance romance reader. I don't really like that storyline so much because normally there has been something in the past that is just irrevocably damaged to one person or both parties. But the way that it was also a miscommunication trope broke my heart when they were talking at the fire in the camp. And the fact that they really were kids, like they really were like these doe-eyed, hopeful kids when they fell in love the first time. Also, Leo, like, literally dropping everything, including Lily, which, like, whatever, but, like, okay, to take care of his sister because his mom passed away. Like, what an honorable man. But I didn't like the miscommunication situation. I feel like, although it did work out perfectly in the end, and it makes for a better story, and obviously that's the whole point of the story, I wish so badly that she knew he was trying to get a hold of her and call her, because I genuinely thought, up until he explained himself at the fire pit, that he ghosted her. I was ready to see her make him beg for it. I was ready to see and eat up that groveling. If you watch the spoiler full version and you haven't read this book, I still strongly recommend that you read this book, because the twists and turns in the story are insane. It's extreme enough, but not too extreme to where you're having to take breaks and take a breather and drink some water. You know what I'm saying? That's my review of Something Wilder by Christina Lauren. Very satisfied, very happy. Let me know what you think in the comments if you have read this book, or if you haven't, what are your thoughts on Christina Lauren? Did you like the Soulmate Equation? Did you like the Unhoneymooners? Let me know.